All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. The Niners got a couple undrafted college free agent offensive linemen, and we'll talk about them. Nugent and Mays, we'll talk about them coming up right now. But first, let's mention Pig and a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Niners and the offensive line. They took Dominic Pooney in round 3 out of Kansas. And Pooney, I think, may have a chance to compete for the starting job at right guard. We'll have to see what he looks like in rookie minicamp, but he's a veteran offensive lineman, very versatile, very tough. They also added a offensive lineman for USC in round 6, Kingston, and we'll see what he is. I think he's a guard or a center. Now, they did also add 2 other offensive linemen who are also interior offensive linemen. They didn't really add any tackles, but they added 2 interior offensive linemen after the draft. And one of them is Drake Nugent, a center from Michigan, who started at Stanford and then transferred. And he's a smart guy. He's from Lone Tree, Colorado. He's 6'1.5", 298 pounds is how they have him listed. 33-inch arms. 5.23 is what he ran the 40 in, which is pretty slow, but 25 reps of 225 is really good strength. He was Stanford's team captain, and he played 3 years on the farm. His father, Tony, played quarterback at Colorado State and then played briefly in the NFL, I believe, with the Colts and Browns. As far as Drake goes, he was really good for Stanford, really good player, as I said, the captain of the team. And then he transferred to Michigan for his final year as a grad transfer, and he was a first-team All-Big Ten player in 2023. He threw the shot put in high school, so he's got that track background. He's stout, he's powerful, and he's smart. I mean, that's really it right there. He's stout, he's powerful, he's smart, and he's experienced. He's had 39 college starts to his credit, so he's a veteran. Now, what's his weakness? He wouldn't have gone undrafted if he didn't have one, right? Well, he's not the tallest guy. He's only 6'1.5", not the biggest guy at 298 pounds. But what he is he's very smart, but he really struggled with speed. If you watch the Ohio State-Michigan game, Michael Hall Jr. just destroyed him. And he really destroyed him just because he outquicked him. He just was so much quicker than Drake Nugent that he just beat Nugent several times inside, with the pass rush. So that's that. This is a guy who's going to struggle with speedy defensive tackles. If you're a defensive tackle and you've got great quickness, you're going to be able to work Drake Nugent pretty good because he lacks quickness. But what he does have is strength. And he's powerful, and he's smart, and he's experienced. So I think he's going to be an interesting guy to watch in training camp this summer, simply because he's got that experience, and he's played at a pretty high level of football. They just won the national championship. He opened holes in the middle for Blake Corum, and he's a smart guy, and he's experienced. So and he's a little bit bigger. He's a little shorter than Jake Brendel, but he's a little bit bigger. This guy goes about 6'1.5", 300 pounds. Brendel's more like 6'3", 6'4", 285, something like that. So this guy's a little bit more powerful, but he doesn't have the quickness that Brendel has. So I'm eager to see what Nugent looks like. Does he look like a college athlete that's like a fish out of water against pro caliber defensive tackles, or can he make the adjustment, work on his quickness, and take advantage of some of the smarts and some of the strength that he has and how powerful and stout he is at the point? Can that be his calling card? So that's Drake Nugent, and I'm eager to see what he looks like this summer. Now, Briason Mays is even more intriguing. He's a guard from Southern Miss, 6'3", 298 pounds. He started at West Virginia and then transferred to Southern Miss. And this kid is an athletic freak. At 6'3", 300 pounds, he had a RAS athletic score of 9.13, which is really, really high. Now, is he a center? Is he a guard? I'm not really sure. He played guard at Southern Miss. He went to Central High School in Tennessee. Supposedly in high school, he was like Mr. Pancake Block guy. And someone said he had 101 pancake blocks in his high school career. I don't know how I'm sure that's not exactly scientific, but needless to say, this guy puts people on their can. He chose West Virginia over a number of other schools. He played there 2018, 19, and 20. He played center. He played offensive tackle. What he really does is he moves really well. You know, if you watch this guy, he's very athletic. I mean, this is a super athletic offensive lineman. He pulls well. He moves well. He hits people in space. He's a strong run blocker. Now, he doesn't have as big a size and strength as some guys. You know, 6'3", 298. There are bigger centers who, Jackson Powers Johnson weighs 328 pounds. And they play the same spot, center or guard. But Briason Mays is definitely athletic, and he's a strong run blocker, and he'll find defenders in space and knock them over. He moves really, really well, and he's really aggressive. So to me, this guy is going to be a very interesting guy to watch this summer, just simply because he's very aggressive. He's an aggressive football player who is looking to put you on the ground. So both these guys are really interesting. I think Mays is probably a better athlete than Nugent. Nugent has more experience, so they're both very experienced. But when I was watching the film of Briason Mays, you can see the NFL caliber speed. And between the four linemen the Niners brought in, all of these guys can move. So these are Chris Forster hand-picked guys. Mays is super athletic. Nugent is super smart and experienced. Pooney has got a real nastiness to him. Kingston, to me, seems like a little bit of a guy with premier strength and athleticism. We're going to see how these guys fit into this mix. But they've added 4 offensive linemen, Pooney being the best, and these other 3 guys, a late round guy and 2 undrafted guys that have the potential to unseat some of the current players that they have. So to me, this summer is going to be really, really intriguing from the standpoint of, you don't know which of these guys is going to make it. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 that are busts, but a couple of these guys may be able to take jobs away from some of the existing guys like Nick Zakelj and others up front. So the Niners added 4 offensive linemen. They were handpicked, 2 undrafted guys, 1 guy in the 3rd round, 1 guy in the 6th round. And I'm eager to see what what Forster thinks when he gets these guys on the field. Which one looks the best? Are these guys all ready to make the team? Are they ready to contribute right away? I think that's going to be really interesting. The Niners could use an infusion of youth and talent on their offensive line, especially on the right side. And it'll be interesting to see if any of these 4 guys can fill any of their needs along the offensive line. They're solid with Williams and Banks on the left side. The rest of the line definitely is a work in progress. How much help did they get in this draft? We're going to find out in probably a few weeks, and definitively a few months from now in the summertime when we see these guys in camp and then the preseason. But the hope is that they got a couple of real athletic offensive linemen that can stick and potentially become starters down the road. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.